Diana Taurasi is injured, and it may open the door for Caitlin Clark to make the Olympic team. And women's basketball just didn't quite know how to handle Caitlin Clark. It reminds me a little bit when Taylor Swift, the singer, became a billionaire with the Eras tour, and like the management team and Ticketmaster had to apologize. Like in 10 minutes, they couldn't supply enough tickets. It was just, they were completely overwhelmed. And I think that's what women's basketball was with Caitlin Clark. I mean, they knew a year out she could be the number one pick. They give her the toughest early schedule in the league over any other team. And remember, the Indiana Fever were the worst team. So she comes in, they start 1-8. They put nothing but quality veteran teams that had been in the playoffs. Terrible start. And then the league has to scramble because she's selling jerseys and merch like crazy. They've got to switch venues in L.A. They went from the Pyramid in Long Beach to Crypto. And the league got, this is what happens sometimes with soccer fans. They feel ignored, and WA fans feel ignored. So they get very precious, very tribal, very insular. She's not going to make the USA women's basketball Olympic team. And you're like, are you crazy? Go look at the men's team. It's political. Jaylen Brown's not on it because Nike doesn't want him on it. Kyrie Irving's not on it because Nike doesn't want him on it. You're not going to put Caitlin Clark, your Taylor Swift on the team. Well, she sells out her all-star jersey in 17 minutes. I'm still not sure women's basketball quite has their feet under them. They're doing a Ticketmaster. They're bailing water. She's exploding as a player. She leads the WNBA in assists. She's third in three-pointers made. Indiana's won 8 of 12. Yesterday's a prime example where she is in the fourth quarter, best player on the floor, had a choppy first half but had 10 points. But you're not going to hear anybody pick on women's basketball as a unit. There's a lot of sycophants in the media. They feel like the sport's been ignored, so they're part of the brigade to support it, and that's fine. But let's be honest about it. The sport made a terrible decision on the Olympic team. The scheduling early, even though they knew she was coming out and probably going to be a number one pick a year earlier, about the time they were making schedules, was ridiculous. And now Indiana's on fire. Caitlin Clark's like a 17, 8, and 6 player. She's getting better by the week. She says the right stuff at the podium. There's nothing about her you don't like. And it's like, now you made a big mistake the first time not putting her on the Olympic team. Don't double down on dumb. Get her on the team. Give us a reason to watch the Olympic women's team. You guys win gold every year. Your competition's weak. You win it every year. Give us a reason. Quadruple your television ratings with her. Promoting not only the other women on the team that could get endorsements, but promoting your sport. There's a reason that top movie stars and top athletes use the same 4 or 5 agents, because they can handle it. They don't get overwhelmed. Women's basketball has felt overwhelmed here. You got your Conor McGregor, your baseball. You got your Bryce Harper. You got your Messi in the MLS. You put him on TV. The whole salary cap in the MLS. It's funny. They got Messi into the MLS. The guy makes more than some of the teams. They figured out a way to get him into the MLS. They weren't precious and rigid. And so, listen, in basketball terms, this is a layup. In NBA terms, it's a slam dunk. If you can get her on the Olympic team, you missed the first time, do it the second time. You're doing yourself a favor. Don't get in the way of yourself. Don't jump over a $20 bill to get to a 5, as they say. You screwed up the first time. Don't screw up again. Get her on the Olympic team. Diana Taurasi, by the way, has been a huge, ardent supporter of Caitlin Clark. She wouldn't mind it. Anywho, the WNBA announced that their TV ratings and their attendance are shattering records now with Caitlin Clark. The television viewership, 3.5 times greater than last year. Merchandise sales up 756% because of Caitlin Clark. I was thinking about this. If the WNBA is the cake of women's basketball, the Olympics is the icing. It's only once every 4 years. all cakes are a little better with icing, but cakes are edible without icing, but every cake's probably a little better with icing, right? So not putting Caitlin Clark on the women's basketball team is not going to crush the WNBA. But clearly it would help the WNBA if we met and recognized more of their really good players. Here's where I find the absolute hypocrisy with the WNBA, its players, its fans, and its media. For years, you can look it up. We did this morning, found multiple arguments, multiple articles. For years, the WNBA players lamented their salaries. Were outraged by their second-class travel. Often criticized the media for not covering them. So those were the three big knocks. We don't make what the guys make or even close. Our travel stinks. And frankly, our salary should be better. Well, Caitlin Clark's already solved one of those, the attention thing. She's kind of solved for 2 years the travel thing. They're now going to charter planes. Don't you think you could get maybe a 5 to a 10-year upgrade in travel if Caitlin went to the Olympics, introduced eyeballs to all these excellent players that you don't really follow? I mean, did you really know Mary Lou Retton before the Olympics? She was a top gymnast. The Olympics, like March Madness, often introduces us to athletes we didn't know much about. Maybe we've heard of, never watched. But I mean, complaining about your second-class travel, lack of attention and salaries, you have this player that can elevate all of them, and you're like, well, she may not be one of the top 15 players. Oh, we're quite precious, aren't we? That'd be like being a 25-year-old. Nobody offers me a good job. Somebody does, and you're like, well, I don't like the hours. They wouldn't give me 3 weeks off, just 2. Yeah, you don't get everything in life. Even the Kansas City Chiefs had to move off Tyreek Hill. They couldn't afford his salary. Even Tom Brady, to win Super Bowls, took a little bit of a pay cut. Even LeBron James had to leave Cleveland and Akron, his hometown, for Miami to win titles. The WNBA wants all sorts of things. Now has an opportunity to ensure all three of them. You don't think introducing players over the Olympics, 20 million viewers per game, couldn't help you in TV contracts? Extensions of broadcasting? A little? I mean, a little? If you're going to complain about stuff, use Google. It's a search engine. This morning I found here's an article, layover, cramped seating, security lines, a day with players on a WNBA commercial flight. Caitlin got you 2 years upgrade. Maybe if people watched the other players, like, I really like them. They're really cool. I mean, you already saw in Las Vegas, the Aces, the Chamber of Commerce gave every woman on that team like a hundy. They're like, we like these girls. They're part of the community. If not national endorsements, local endorsements. I mean, it's the hypocrisy is alarming. Brady didn't get everything he wants. Mahomes and Andy Reid don't get everything they want. Conor McGregor doesn't get every fight in his prime that he wants. Tiger Woods didn't win every tournament or get every sponsor he wanted in his prime. You don't get everything. Yes, you'd have to find a place for Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team. You'd have to squeeze in the kid. You don't get everything. You'd have to squeeze her in. I don't think that's a big ask, having to squeeze maybe the 24th best player on a 15, 12-person roster.